Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you the anatomy of a high converting sales page with 8 sections to sell anything using Nexter. You don't need to know how to code, and we're going to show you the psychological structure of a long form sales page. Alright, so for today's video, we're going to be using Nexter. You don't have to use Nexter, but Nexter offers a whole bunch of blocks and features that you would otherwise have to download as third-party plugins and blocks. So to get started, let's open up a brand new blank page and create our full service, full featured sales page. And we're all going to do this from inside of Gutenberg Blog Editor. And if you aren't too familiar with WordPress or Nexter, we have a whole bunch of videos taking a look at how to use WordPress to begin with, the features of Nexter, and taking a look at each individual block Nexter has to offer. So let's call this, okay, and you can use this. Let's go ahead and publish this. You can use this for, and let's go over here and set this as our homepage. And you can sell whatever it is, whether it's a product or a service, or try to get people to become customers, like as a lead generation funnel site. And first, we're going to start off with a bold headline. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go ahead and use a container here. And let's choose this, make it full width, and then the height is minimum height. And let's go ahead and add in a paragraph here, and then we have a title, and we have our content. So for this example, we're going to be selling a smartphone. Oops, let's put that into here. Fitted lettuce. Okay, there we go. And let's center that up. And let's say something like, okay, and then we can make this title 1, and then we can go ahead and change the subtitle, and the subtitle is going to separate it. Okay, and you're going to see what we have planned up in a bit. And for style, let's go ahead and change the typography first of the title. And we want to make it big and bold, right? Like 1984 looking. It doesn't have to be this extreme, but this is just an example for you to see the basic anatomy of what you should probably be aiming for. It doesn't have to be exactly this way, but what you should be aiming for when it comes to building your sales site, right? And then for this, we can go ahead and add in a background image. So let's click on the container. And then for style, let's go into background. We'll use an image here. We'll insert an image from somewhere here. And then maybe we can look for a cool picture of a building or something. Something to, really drive it home. Or let's see. If these are big enough, then we'll choose those. And we have a whole bunch of pictures to choose from. Okay, these should be fine if we can find one here. Okay. And then we can put, let's position this to be center. And let's put on a overlay on this. And we can add a divider on here. top, bottom, and then we can change the color of these. Right, and then for the top one, make it white as well. And for the background down here, and then top layer, let's go with color, and the background color here, and then we're gonna make it a bit darker. And then for the text now, let's go ahead and change the text color to pure white, even for the title, right? Just so that it contrasts. And maybe we can change this to red or something, and maybe even change the font. Make it a bit bigger. And we can put a text shadow on this. Oops. And okay. And that's our first part. Good and done. Now, we want to put in another container down here just to keep things organized. And we're going to put in another paragraph. Well, yeah, we're going to put in a paragraph here, but an actual one. So let's go ahead and go and click on paragraph here. We'll type it in. There we go. And then this is going to be your overview section, right? So, so for the title, we'll probably go with, we need to explain or describe the problem, which is going to be okay, if you can see where I'm going here, what I'm going with here. And then for this one, right, so we're going to give the problem, which is going to be in the title. And then for the solution, it's going to be and then call to action. You can either put a button over here, which we could probably do. So let's go ahead and center this up. And then for the, oops, for the container here, let's center all of these up again, right, under flex property. And then let's put in a button, right? And then for here, let's go ahead and change the title to okay. Now, besides this, let's say, for instance, we're offering a phone. In between this, you might want to put in a hero section or just an image of whatever it is that you are selling. So let's go ahead and click on image. Let's center this. And again, let's click on the container and then center everything inside. And then let's add in our image of the product that we're selling, right? Okay, so here's our headline. Okay, that's pretty cool. And here's our problem, here's a solution. And if you wanted to, you could go ahead and put this before or after, right? We're only putting it before just for layout's sake. So here's our call to action. Now, we want to outline our features and benefits. So again, with a container, which is going to be the basis of every single thing that we're going to make a double one over here. Let's put on a stylish list on the right side here, right? So these are going to be some of the benefits, and we're going to put this into there, and we're going to put on an image here, media library, and let's go ahead and choose this one. Oops. Oh, gallery. Oh, image is what we want to insert. So what happened there? Here you go. Image. And we'll choose this. Okay. And then now we can also click on the container and then center this. And this could be centered as well. Okay, and then we can put probably a heading over here on top. There you go. Okay, we can center that up. And then next off, we're going to have, well, what we could do here is just duplicate this. And then we can unlock them. And then unlock this as well. And then we can just like flip them around. Or rather, click on this and then put this over here. And there we go. Okay, so benefits, features. Okay, now this is, going to be the selling points. Like, why would I want to buy this phone? After you've explained the problem. So we're going to explain like, hey, we have cool apps, we have cool software, we have like really solid hardware, right? So if you wanted to, we can put on here software, and then over here we can say like hardware, okay? So for the next part, we're going to put on our process, right? So whether this is a service or just a general timeline, for this example, let's go ahead and use the process steps block, and we can make it either horizontal or vertical, and you can see it's very easy to use. So let's just start off with 3 here. So step 1, it's going to be, well, step 1, step 2, step 3. Right, so for this one, we're going to be saying order your and then step 2 is going to be, and then step 3 is going to be, okay, and then we can change the content of all of this, right? So step 3 is going to be that, and then we're going to change the background color to something else, right? There you go. And we can also put a counter area if we wanted to, right? But that should be okay. So that's going to be our process step. So let's go ahead and put this into a container and then flex property, and then give this a heading as well. And okay. And then you can put dividers on all of these, but this should work out just fine. So these are your process steps. So for instance, this is highlighting what it's like to live with a phone. It could be how do you go about ordering it, or how do you receive a service. It's really up to you, but this is more of developing your potential customer's idea of what it is they're going to get into. Next is very key when it comes to turning your leads into customers, and that's going to be social proof. So there's a couple blocks here, such as social reviews here, and you also have testimonials. For social reviews, you can actually link it to your Facebook or Google or a custom type of review. But a cool way, another one is going to be just the default testimonials one. And once you get Nextdoor Pro, you get access to the dynamic content over here. So if you had a database, for instance, like ACF fields, SEF fields, or whatever it is that you want to use, you can store them in a database rather than have to manually type them out one by one. Okay, so we can add 3, 4, 5. And this is really key when it comes to getting your leads to turn into potential customers. Well, your potential customers into becoming actual customers. So after this, well, let's go ahead and put this one into a container again, and let's give it another title. And let's change flex property. For this one, let's drag and drop this. We have a whole video on editing just this block. But for this video, again, it's just going to be the anatomy. And I'll put another heading over here into this block. We're going to say, right? And let's go ahead and take a look at area number 6. So at this point, well, the main reason for why we have the social reviews here is that because it builds trust. So the whole time here, a statement of problem, okay, we're really visual. You can add your colors, change the fonts depending on what you want, depending on your brand. We have the problem here, and we could probably make this a bit bigger if we wanted to. We have a reasonable call to action. This is the solution. This is a solution you're really trying to sell, and change your language, change your photos depending on what you want to do, right? We have benefits and features here. Again, real simple, just a few items on the list. Visual, like, hey, this looks cool. What is it, right? A couple, 2, 3, 4. Again, it depends on how many things you want to show. And then we have the process steps, which really drives in what the customer is going to get. And at this point, we have them hooked. But if they aren't sure yet, we have social proof. So it's kind of important to have real pictures, real names, real reviews, just so that there's a sense of connection with other users to somebody that's potentially going to buy what it is. So once you have their trust, once you have them locked in, you're going to want to show them what you actually mean. So let's go ahead and make another container here and flex property here and here. And let's put in another heading in here. And we're going to call this okay. And there's a couple really cool blocks here. So if we type in price here, we have pricing table and pricing list. So again, there's a couple ways you can go about this. Let's go ahead and add another container here just so that you can see. And then let's change this to a double. And then here you go. And then here you go. And you can see there's a difference between these two. And, just the same, we have a few different options for however we want to customize this. And then for this as well, right? But again, it's up to you to choose. But at this point, you really want to show some further features and the actual prices of the things that you're going to be selling. Okay? And that's pretty straightforward. And finally, well, not finally, but second to last, is going to be our guarantee, right? And this is going to be risk reversal. So at this point, we already have their trust from the social reviews, testimonials, and whatnot. But again, if they see a price and they can't really afford it, or if it's too cheap, or this is real money we're talking about, we could go ahead and give her a guarantee. If you don't have a guarantee, go ahead, don't use one. But this is something so simple and something that really keeps or even gets a bunch of customers that you might even want to consider making a guarantee. So let's put in a heading over here. Well, let's go ahead and put on a paragraph just to make it easier, right? You don't have to insert a completely different text box over here. So let's call this our and then we can center this up later on here. And then we can put this on here. Um, there you go. And that just drives things home. Like if they aren't convinced with what it is that you're selling, fully convinced, and if there's a way for them to reverse it, they could always go back to here and quote you on this, and that might even guarantee them actually buying for you. So a final call to action and another button probably is going to be our last, uh, but not least, block over here. So let's go ahead and put in our final call to action. Just a simple heading will do, and it's just going to drive home the point of what it is that we're trying to sell. So and then over here, we can put another button, just a simple one down here. And let's center that up. And let's say, okay, so let's go ahead and click on save, right? And we should be done over here. But there might be a couple more steps. So we're going to view the page and test it out as we should. And you can see we have our header over here and we have things overlapping. But again, it's really about double checking everything on the front end and the back end. And so far, so good. It looks really nice and everything looks good. However, the footer should be fine. But one thing you want to keep in mind is it's really like what they say about YouTube videos or TikTok ads, Instagram ads. You really only have your viewers, customers' attention for the first like 10 seconds or something. And if it's not explained within those 10 seconds, you're out. So if this is going to be your main full service sales page, you want to get your main navigation out of there. So with this, what we want to happen, what we want to see happen is we want the headline. We want to shock our customer, and we want them to see our product right away and get them right into it. We don't want them to see like home contact about products if this is what you're trying to do. If it's an ordinary website, no problem. So let's go ahead and show you how to remove the header or make a header in Nexter. Now, in some other themes, it isn't so easy. Sometimes you're actually forced to have your site title here with your socials and your logo here. But with the Nexter extension, right, we have the theme builder, and we can totally just disable the header. So uh, let's disable this, and we have our blank header enabled here. All this is, if we click on edit, it's just going to be a blank header. And we have videos on making headers and footers in Nexter, but just so you can see, this is going to be totally blank, right, as you can see. And once we reload our site, it should be gone. And there you go. And let's go ahead and click on header and see if Okay, or we can probably edit this and add a blank container over here, and then full style, and then a background will be just white. Save, and let's take a look at our site again. Oops. And okay, and since it's blank, it just by default will have our site title here. So let's go ahead and click on Customize, and let's head over to the customizer here, and let's go ahead and remove our site title and site identity. Let's just remove the site title here. Oops. And then publish on this. And then let's reload our site. And it should be gone. There we go. Now, final step is to fix the spacing over here. And let's go ahead and click on Edit Page. And okay. And from here, let's go ahead and advanced spacing, margin. Let's put it on here, maybe 60 pixels, save, and then just double check again. Or either padding might have been a better option. Okay. And it probably shouldn't have been the image, it should have been the container, but that's totally fine. We can work with that. 100 pixels. Let's try that again. And go ahead and save that. Let's see our final product. Oop. I guess a bit more. Let's go with 100% here. It might be too much, but let's take a look. And reload our site. And it was a bit too much. Let's go ahead and reduce that. Again, it's going to be a bit of back and forth when you're really trying to dial in your settings. And again, you'll have to check with your tablet or phone just to make sure it's responsive, because sometimes you can break websites by not making them responsive. So here we have the final finished product. Here's our full service page with its 8 key body parts, I suppose, the anatomy of it. A bold headline to get the attention, a hero area showing what the product is, an overview, right? And you can make this a bit longer, stating the problem, and a subtitle stating the solution with a clear call to action, some benefits and features listed out here real clearly, and a process area just to develop the whole idea in your potential customers' minds, social proof to build trust, pricing and details, just to get the numbers out there, and an honest guarantee to give the customers potential risk reversal if they have any reservations about what it is that you are selling them. And finally, a clear and amazing final call to action with a button to get them to get and buy your product. Okay, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a full service sales page in Nextr without any coding. If you wanted to customize it, we have a bunch of videos on taking a look at each one of these blocks one by one. If you have any questions, please comment them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nextr where you can get the Nextr blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio. We recommend getting the studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks. So you don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.